So you just made a new piece of art. It's amazing. You're super proud of it, and you go to share it, and seven different people tell you, "That's awesome. You're the best artist ever. Keep making art. Don't ever stop." Feels great, right? Unless, unless the last four times that you made your art and shared it, you had 25 people telling you that it was amazing, and this time there's only seven. So now those seven don't feel exciting. They kind of feel like something's wrong. What's up with that? Well, the answer is how our brains deal with reward systems. There's actually two different kinds, broadly speaking. There's intrinsic rewards, which come from doing a thing. That's like making your art, the self satisfaction you get, or throwing a frisbee, or petting a dog, right? Like, even if you've done those things 1,000 times, it still probably feels just about as good to do them again. Then there's extrinsic rewards. These are things that are external to whatever you're doing, like external to the action, like external to the results of the action. These can be rewards that you win. This can be engagement on social media, feedback from your friends, even the money that you make if you sell your work. All of that is extrinsic reward. Unlike intrinsic rewards, though, extrinsic rewards don't continue to give the same amount of good feeling for the same amount of response. You have to get a bigger and bigger or more intense response from that extrinsic reward to get the same amount of happiness from it over time. And even worse, the motivation to chase after that good feeling that you know you used to get in this system can compel you to keep using the system long after all of the intrinsic reward has drained out of it. This is burnout. This is when you're forced to engage with a system for a reward that you're not getting enough of anymore because it won't give it to you. You're stuck. This is how gamblers get stuck. This is how people get addicted to the video games and then play them for like 8 years and then decide that they hated it and it was a waste of time. It's because extrinsic rewards over time turn fun activities into chores and then produce burnout by compelling you to continue them. And that happens a lot, especially in art circles, especially if somebody happens to have, a good summer where their engagement is really high. And then, the algorithms change and it's not. And it feels like they're just not as good as they used to be. And they're worried. And often they stop. That's awful. So, what do we do about it? Well, first of all, on a personal level, you have to decide to rein in your extrinsic rewards. Like, you can't get rid of them entirely. You have to be motivated, and they're a very powerful motivator. But just like caffeine is a very helpful way to, wake your brain up, you can't have too much caffeine or it's a problem. I like to think of extrinsic rewards as something to take just one bite of, right? Like they're a dessert, they're a fancy cake, and no matter how delicious the cake looks and how big it is this time, I just take one bite. I spend that one moment enjoying that it was a good thing, reveling in the reward feeling, and then I wrap it up and I try to move on. I don't stay there. I don't keep refreshing the page to see what the number gets to. I I try not to fixate on just how big that dessert could be and try to be satisfied with the really filling meal that I just had by creating my own art. And if you try to keep the balance where there's a meal worth of intrinsic reward and a bite's worth of dessert, a bite's worth of extrinsic reward, you don't get overwhelmed with that chase for the extrinsic. You know that the meat of it is still there every time and it's getting better and better because you're getting better and better at what you do. That's how you keep it from getting out of hand. And that means not being in the places that encourage you to let it get out of hand. So that's the decision I've made recently. And if you head up to my watermelon, you can find out what that means for the future. Thanks.